consultant with corporations, nonprofit organizations, political campaigns, and government officials at both the state and national level. He is a graduate of the University of Tennessee and lives in Nashville, Tennessee, like a friend of mine down there. Welcome to the Conservative Commanders Radio Show, Chris Walker.
Thanks, John. We call it Nash Vegas a lot of times. So,
not Nash Vegas, so that's it. I'll have to hear more about that. I think I know why a little bit. Seeing the, what do you call it, the Opry down there?
That's right, the Ryman, the Grand Ole Opry, home to not just country music, but a lot of great live music. It's growing like a weed in Nashville. I think all the people are fleeing from California and the high taxes out there to come to a low-tax state like Tennessee, and they feel like Nashville's a great place to go.
Well, the Grand Ole Opry and some of those buildings do strike me as a little bit like some of those huge tourist attractions. Anyway, we're happy. You caught our attention with an article, Black Friday, Cyber Monday Shopper's Guide, and some interesting issues. Now, of course, we're a little past Black Friday, but the principle applies. What are you guys up to?
Well, we've, and Rick, it's glad to be back with you again as well. We've been really trying hard to allow people to know where their dollar is going on a conservative to liberal scale. So we all know how to vote on Election Day, whether we're voting for Democrats or Republicans for our elected officials. But we don't take the time to do the research for our second vote, which is where we spend our dollars. So what we're doing at Second Vote is trying to find a way to really engage with consumers and let them know which companies share their values and which ones don't. So we put together a great Black Friday, Cyber Monday shopper's guide to help conservatives try to figure out how to better spend their money. So finding out which companies are better aligned with conservative values and finding out which companies aren't as aligned with conservative values.
Well, now, no particular order. I might regret taking off on a tangent here because I'm disorganized sometimes. But you write in your article that most of the retailers seem to be on the wrong side, from my perspective, and I think yours. They're not conservative. Is that right?
We've scored close to 500 companies, and of the total, around 70% of them are lean liberal or liberal. And that has a lot to do with supporting various causes, whether it's Planned Parenthood on the life side, or Mayors Against Illegal Guns with Mayor Bloomberg on the Second Amendment side, or the World Wildlife Fund and the Environmental Defense Fund on the environment side. So we try to make those connections and see what corporate dollars are going to left-wing causes and right-wing causes.
Well, the reason I started out with that was that it strikes me, perhaps, that's because the left is, those companies act that way because the left is very vocal, and perhaps we're too polite. Do you think that, you've worked as advising some of these companies and organizations and public relations, and what do you think about that?
I think that's a very, very good assumption on what's happening. I don't think you necessarily see the scores reflect the necessarily corporate values. In some cases you do, whether it's Starbucks or Apple or some of the Silicon Valley outfits. I think you're seeing more of a corporate stance than not. In the case of a company like Macy's or Walmart, you probably aren't necessarily seeing particular corporate stance as much as you're seeing them being pressured by left-wing groups over 20, 30 years to try to fund their pet causes, whether it's Human Rights Campaign or Planned Parenthood or what have you. And as a result of that, our money starts going to all these various causes, and as such, our scores have to reflect that. So I think that's a good analysis. I honestly think more often than not, given the benefit of the doubt, companies remain neutral. For them, it's a cost center, and it's a chance for them to take money that they would into producing a better product or selling products into pet causes and activities that they've felt public pressure to try to support.
Well, I think a lot of our listeners and conservatives may have, if they've noticed at all, may have scratched their head and said, why is this company sticking its neck out for this odd cause here or another? I think it is a bit of a curiosity, but I would tend to think that if we don't express ourselves, then we're sort of abandoning the field to push them in that direction.
We've left the field abandoned for a long time. I think that's a very, very good way to put it. we need to really, that's why we created Second Vote, honestly. That's why we have decided to try to put a lot of resources and time into doing the research, making it easy to understand, and allow conservatives to have a real understanding of following the money. So we hope that Second Vote, by downloading the app or checking out our website and opening up an account, you and your listeners can start to see where these dollars are going and hold your dollars accountable, so we can give these companies an out. Frankly, the best thing that we can see is a company getting out of the cultural issues or the Second Amendment issues or the myriad of issues that we score, and say, look, we're here in the business of making money. We're not in the business of selling a product, and we don't need to be involved in all these extracurricular activities. That, to us, we think is a win. That's why we think neutral is a good thing.
Well, Chris Walker, we've got about 2 minutes before a short 2-minute break, and I don't know if you'll get through all this, but how does it work? We may have to interrupt for a break, but let's get started. How does this work?
I can be long-winded, but I can do it in 2 minutes. We score various issues, whether it's education and Common Core support, or like I mentioned before, the life issue or the marriage issue or radical environmentalism, Second Amendment, corporate welfare. We follow all the money and see which companies donate to left-wing causes and which companies donate to right-wing causes and come up with a score, whether liberal, lean liberal, neutral, conservative, or lean conservative. And we make those assessments and put them all into a app or a web or our website, secondvote.com, to be able to show where those companies stand on the various issues. So you can sort by issue, you can sort by totality, or you can sort by various companies and industries as well to really find and find those companies where your dollars go to advance conservative causes and neutral causes, not left-wing causes.
Well, that's great. So, I mean, because I've seen things in the past, just makes my head spin. So when you get in the car and you have your smartphone, which I still haven't gone to, or your tablet or something like that, where do I go now? This can prioritize your trip, right?
Yes, we all of it's available on our app at secondvote.com. It's on smartphones, both Apple and Amazon and Google Play. But all of it's available on our website as well, and it's easy to understand, easy to download, and it's easily searchable as well. Yeah.
So you can go to, what is the website again, and download it onto your, or just use the website. What's the website again?
Secondvote.com. The number 2 ndvote.com.
Okay. You always give it out at the end, but sometimes people want to follow along as we're talking about it. So that's so we have a score because assuming it's somebody. Now you describe to people what your perspectives are, so people can figure out if it matches theirs. So I guess we can better go ahead and take that break now, and you can think about questions. Let's go back to you, Rick Trader.
Listening to the Conservative Commandos radio show with Jonathan Mosley and Rick Trader, coming to you from the CCRS studios, WNJC 1360 in Philadelphia, and around the world on the internet with our internet broadcast partners. Now you can listen to replays of our shows coming to you from our websites, conservativecommandosradioshow.com, ccrshow.com, and from any telephone by calling 832-999-1199. Today's show is brought to you by the First Amendment and protected by the Second. Our guest this segment is Chris Walker, Executive Director of Second Vote. We'll be right back.
This is the Taxpayer Minute, brought to you by Americans for Prosperity.
New Jersey is known for a lot of things. Our shore, not pumping our own gas, our malls, the Jersey tomato, and the worst state to die in. New Jersey is behind the times when it comes to death taxes, as 31 states have neither an estate nor inheritance tax. New Jersey is only one of 2 states that have both of these arbitrary taxes on the books. This is just one more reason for our retired to move to another state, so loved ones are not taxed on things they worked hard for their entire lives. Our farming communities would certainly be most affected by the elimination of the estate tax. Instead of their next of kin being walloped with a tax bill they cannot afford, by eliminating the estate tax will allow them to pass down their large land holdings to their family and keep the property as farmland. Learn how to pressure our lawmakers to kill the death tax at taxpayerminute.com. That's taxpayerminute.com.
This has been the Taxpayer Minute, brought to you by Americans for Prosperity.
Hi, this is Bob Vide, owner of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glassboro, New Jersey. I've had the opportunity to travel in many foreign countries, and I've seen what happens to people when they lose their freedom. I wrote this poem. Give us freedom was the cry as they marched throughout the night. At Concord Bridge in Trenton, for freedom they would fight. To build a nation that would last with peace and liberty, it is a job that's never done if we are to be free. They wrote a declaration to announce that we are free, then a constitution for all the world to see. But this is ink on paper. We must make it last. It must always be defended, and that is quite a task. Today the battle rages for freedom in our land. To save our Constitution, we all must take a stand. We must stand up for freedom in our actions every day, and you can stand up with us. Join the NRA. This is Bob Biden of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glasper, New Jersey. You may call us at area code 856-881-756. Visit us online at bobslittle.sportshop.com.
You can call the Conservative Commandos radio show at 856-227-1360. Your opinion counts at 856-227-1360.
This is Congressman Alan West, and you're listening to the Conservative Commando Radio Show.
And welcome back to the Conservative Commandos Radio Show with Jonathan Mosley and yours truly, Rick Trader, coming to you from the CCRS studios, WNJC 1360 in Philly and around the world on the internet with our internet broadcast partners, CPRWorldwideMedia.com, LeadingEdgeRadioNetwork.com, VigilantLibertyRadio.us, and our newest, thepunditpress.com. Also, check out our websites for rebroadcasts of our shows, CCRshow.com, ConservativeCommandosRadioshow.com, and from any telephone by calling 832-999-1199. Our guest this segment is Chris Walker. Chris is the executive director of SecondVote.com. Chris, thanks for holding through that break. We do appreciate your time.
Of course. Thanks for having me on.
Well, you know, Chris, one of the reasons I love having you on, I love what you guys are doing and what you stand for. I've been saying for years and years and years, conservatives need to use their economic power to make their voices heard. It's another way. And I love the name of your organization, Second Vote, because, you know, our first vote is at the ballot box. Our second vote is with our dollars.
You know, Rick, we talked about shopping on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all the holiday shopping season is upon us. Over $12.3 billion was spent at brick and mortar.
How much?
Last year in $12.3 billion was spent at Black Friday weekend in 2013.
Right.
The average purchase price was down to $407. Now, if we think about that politically, and we think about that with public policy positions, that's $12.3 billion that's going to a company that's funding left-wing causes like Planned Parenthood and Human Rights Campaign. And we wonder why some of our causes and our issues fail at the ballot box or that we're losing in public opinion, in part because we're not doing something like Second Vote. So we think it's really important to continue this effort, keep the research out there, keep the information going, and allow ourselves to be better educated about where our money is going and hold those dollars accountable. $12.3 billion is a lot of money. And a lot of times, tens of millions of those dollars are going to left-wing causes with no conservative counterbalance. With something like Second Vote, we hope that we can tip the scales back to our favor and stop playing in a game where we start an at-bat with two strikes.
Chris, right now I'm on your website, and you have a Black Friday, Cyber Monday shopper's guide. And I just, if you bear with me for a minute or so, I wanted to go down this list, some of your shop here, not there list, and maybe you could tell us why you would like to see conservatives boycott or not shop at some shops while supporting others. And looking on your shop here list, I guess the highest rated company that I could see is Hobby Lobby. Tell us about
Hobby Lobby. Absolutely. Well, we all know why for Hobby Lobby. They've done a great job at fighting Obamacare and working hard to support conservative causes and pro-life causes. So they've been kind of a poster child for conservative activity. And frankly have gotten a lot of derision from a lot of the powers that be in the kind of regular media.
Mm-hmm.
But Hobby Lobby obviously is a great place. A company like Radio Shack, great place. If you're looking for electronics, probably better there than Best Buy, which is a really low score. Williams-Sonoma, the kitchen company, is a